Nice overview on applications of CTS, right? So I think it's time for a panel discussion before we break out into a demonstration, session. So request Kimura-san to come on stage, Larry, Takeji-san, and Hama-san. Right. So this is the right time for you to kind of, be prepared with your questions. Just immediately after a couple of questions, we'll kind of throw it open to the audience as well, right? So it'll be nice if you can share the, questions with us, just for them to be more comfortable. Very, very interesting. I'm very excited. The CTS to me, I was just talking to, Abhishek the other day, just now. It looks to me like a startup, right? This is like great value for a VC, right? CTS could be great value for a VC, right? As a hardware, full product company, right? So very interesting. So the question that I have for you is, how do you see the, trends worldwide, right, for a product of this nature, right? How do you see testing trends worldwide? And also if you can share a little bit on how far are you ahead of competition, that will be great for all of us, right? So.
Okay, is on?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, the trend of testing since again, so I'm in this testing industry 20 years, so just my opinion I'm going to show you. So of course the test cost is always problematic for the of course chip makers, but it's needed as I tell in the addressing note because it's quality. So test cost versus quality is a dilemma, always facing, and also the the quality is more important. I think Hamajima or Takeuchi-san's presentation showed now the chip, also the Larry's presentation shows, now the chip is going inside to the medical device, cars, and of course it's on the space, and also the infrastructure. So cannot stop, cannot fail in the field. So quality is very, very important now. So test cost and quality is a dilemma. As more big issue becomes. So my opinion is why I'm started at CTS is I can split that quality assurance, quality guarantee thing, split or distribute into the ecosystem of the chip. So this chip testing quality guarantees happen in production, the factory, but now it's more important than as I said, maybe chip can guarantee at the design phase. Also, chip can guarantee at the engineering sample phase, and also chip can be saved or recovered at the field by the RMA analysis done very soon. So can more distribute or split this quality checking status in our. So 100% check is impossible, but we can share at multiple checkpoint we can make, the CTS can do, they're more safer world, and also each individual test cost become lower. So that's kind of my view. So this is kind of world view, and also the inside India. So in India is already inside of the ecosystem. So there's lots of the design company and the design IP company on the engineering work. So kind of key location which can do the quality assurance or guarantee stuff in India in the future, maybe near future. So by, I don't know, the CTS or by other competition makers or other, tester maker, whichever. But this is what should happen in, in a short time in India. That's my view. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Kimura-san. So while we wait for more questions from the audience, I think let's ask Larry, representing Advantest, from a company perspective, right? So how's Advantest doing, and what's the market outlook? From a worldwide perspective, how do you see the market for Advantest When you have all the big boys already in the market from a test and measurement standpoint, how do you see Advantest placing yourself in that market worldwide, and how's India for you?
Okay, from a test and measurement perspective, I think this is our core business. This is also our core capability, right? Advantest is into testing business, is into measurement business. Like I mentioned, measurement is always a key thing that we cannot escape. Right? Measurement, without measurement, there is very little innovation. So measurement is the mother of innovation. Now, how do we see this market? I think in my earlier presentation, we see there's a macro perspective. We are all connected in this world. There's no such thing as individual market. Whether you're in India, you're in US, in China, in Singapore, something happen elsewhere will affect you. So that is from a macro perspective. So the whole economy system, all these have an impact. Right? Now, drawing nearer from a micro perspective, I think technology is where you need to stand out. How to differentiate from what others is doing is one of the key things to stay in this market. So from the India perspective, I think first of all, you need to stay in this industry. First, you need to know where are the relevant applications. Right? Of course, many things are out there. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheels. You can leverage on. Secondly, is to make sure that you get connected to the right player with the right technology, with the right solution. And Advantest is definitely one of the players that you can look to. Right? And the other thing, I think from India perspective, we have heard a lot, make in India. Right? Of course, today we recognize that India is a very key market for software development, IC designs, validation. Now, the make in India things, I think eventually will happen. Of course, the question is always when. Right? And there's quite a lot of number of challenges that I think you need to look into. Of course, it's not just an individual effort or individual organization. The government have a stake in this to make sure that the policies are in place, the right policy, the infrastructures are in place. You need to rally the industry to get the relevant players to come in. Of course, you have startups. I think the startup is definitely something that you can look through. Now, startups are always challenging, right? You never know where you're heading, whether you make it or you break. Right? But startup, I think if you look at today's NMC, they probably start up somewhere along the line. Right? So that is something that should be very encouraging. Now, the other third aspect, I think, is the talent. Whatever technology, whatever system that you place, it's ultimately the people that get this whole thing working. So the right talent must also come in. So talent development must be in tandem with this industry development. So as a whole, I think we are actually not new in India market. Advantest have a customer base in India, although most of our systems today are mainly for engineering purpose. But we are supporting India. And we see that the possibility will grow. There's a lot more possibility. And Advantest, we have offered a whole range of solutions. So not just in semicon, we are also into terahertz. We are also into skin analysis, life science. So all this, we believe, does have a relevance in India market.
Oh, thanks, Larry. Let's move on to Akira-san, closer to the topic that was discussed so far. So from a CTS perspective, right? How have you seen the performance of CTS in other markets, right, apart from India? Because India is absolutely a virgin market for you. How have you seen CTS perform worldwide, right? I'm sure in Japan you may be a clear leader, but how about the US and European markets? How has CTS performed there?
Hi. Actually, this is maybe one of the things I should have talked before, but okay. Actually, we have the starting up business in Japan. So at the moment, our profit, most of the profit from Japan, because they started in Japan, and Japan has a lot of existing customer. In the meantime, we also have the several customers already in the US and Europe. And most of the customers, like the, as I mentioned, the so-called IDM style of company. And within a single company have the almost every functions from design to back end, everything. And but I think it's they started using CTS a little bit slowly, and because most of the people just following the existing way, and a little bit tough to change, tough to challenge. So this is, I think, one of the reasons changing to the kind of paradigm shift. This is what we proposing like as the new shape of testing. So we have to keep trying to get the more customer in Japan, US, Europe as well. And but still, I mean, I'd like to focus on the India, yeah, because the I think India have the lots of potential to jump into the new style of testing. So this is when I hope, and in the meantime, I'm trying to get a customer in the other regions as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. So let's talk technical, Takeshi-san, right? So, I think most of the folks here would love to hear about the technical challenges that you see that customers face, right? So how are you able to overcome those challenges? How you solve those problems? Nice of you to kind of, give us how you solve those problems, yeah.
Yeah, so the biggest challenges we faced was keep our system as simple. So when I meet customers, so some customers says, yeah, CTS is very good system, so I want to use this system. But by the way, one of our devices have 5 gigabps, very high-speed signals. So please add such capability to CTS. Or some customers says, yes, we will use CTS. But in addition, we have the CMOS image sensor. So please develop the CMOS image sensor test system. So for example, our engineers are expert on semiconductor testing. So we can develop such test capabilities with CTS. But if we do that, we cannot keep our concept. Our concept is makes chip tests available for everyone. So if we develop such complicated test capabilities, the cost of CTS will be much higher, and the system will be very complicated. So to solve such customer requirement, we choose the way to collaborate with existing solutions. For example, if you need to test CMOS image sensor, in the market there is a testing module for CMOS image sensor. So then we will develop the driver or interface to such modules. So this is our approach to such complicated test requirement. So this is the challenges for our test application side and the way to solve such requirement from customers.
That's nice. So I think we have a couple of questions from the audience as well. So any of you can answer this, all right? So the question is this platform open? Can the companies start developing own IPs? Can we share the IP with other companies? Right? So one or more can answer these questions.
It's my responsibility.
There you go, Kimura-san.
Yeah, so today's presentation, so all of you can see, you understand. So IP is my cash cow, so revenue. So yeah, I have to handle it. But at the same time, I understand, customer or third parties or engineer want to create your own IPs. Yes, it's understandable. So honestly speaking, I'm kind of thinking some kind of open architecture in the future, but it depends on how much coverage we can do, how much over coverage, the market needed. So so far, honestly speaking, that systems that things has happened yet, but always I'm open to think about that way. Then if any the survey the customer some idea. Okay, this is great idea of the IP. I open to discuss it. So I'm sorry, that's all I can tell right now. And also the sharing stuff is very good question. So the CTS is the cloud-based, so all IPs are on the cloud. So at least inside of the company or inside of the supply chain ecosystem, for example, like Hamajima told in the presentation. So now today the chip make to the made planning, designing, and manufacturing, then use at the end user electronics. It's almost different company. Even the design, chip design, multiple design companies is included. Like even the TSMC, from the big TSMC IP to the small design company. So our product can share the IPs, whole this ecosystem. If this project all the players agree. So that is one key factor, the beauty of the CTS, I believe, vanilla of the CTS, I believe. So, even we can utilize the CTS more effectively, you can break the boundary of the company. Of course, there's some contract, there's some agreement is needed, but once all the player inside the ecosystem agreed, there's no revision, confliction, or environment confliction, the software, mismatch things doesn't happen. So that's one good thing. Yes.
Okay, great. So a couple of more questions for you on IPs, Kimura-san. Okay. So one is IPs are GUI based. So any scope for test time optimization?
Wow. Tough question.
Yeah, good. So I like the audience for that. All right. So you come to an intelligent country, right? So you have no choice but to face intelligent and intellects, right?
Yeah. Yes. Optimization is always happening. So honestly speaking, now our IP is kind of every day. I'm not saying every day, but every time it's kind of how should I say refurbished. We review it, we change it. So as you can see, as you can access to the CTS website, almost we are releasing the software every 2 weeks, every 1 week, if needed, every 3 days. It depends on customer feedback or we found anything should improve. So our IP releasing is very quite high, how should I say, cycling. Then honestly speaking, test time optimization is not for our focus yet. But if we go into more like a production phase or the effective engineering case, yeah, we need to think about that. But honestly speaking, today's environment is not so bad. Please believe it. Today's software is not so slow. Please believe it. But of course, it's different focus. If really the test time is a focus for the customer, in some segment, some area, I could see. Yeah, I can think about that. Sorry, that's all.
Okay, we're not going to stop here. This is more for you. Specifications of IPs.
Okay.
Is there something you want to talk about? Because that's a question they've asked. What are the specs of IPs?
What the spec of IPs?
Yeah. Somebody want to elaborate that a little?
Oh, okay. The spec is depend on the there's the several. I can actually the think about the spec. There's two type. One is the spec of the system, okay, our hardware system, and also the software. The one is the customers, the device spec, both way. Then, yes, of course, the device spec is depend on what the device is. So, for example, JEDEC standard or ARM standard, whatever. And also the spec from the tester hardware, hardware and software is it's already fixed. Then you can find in our website all the manuals. Once you register the CTS website, it's free of charge. You can find that. So I don't go into the too much detail of the spec. How much voltage, how much depth, something like that. But you can find that you can refer that at our website. Just please refer that later.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one more for you. Yeah. So when you come to India, there's one question that always crops up in every regional development forums, right? Is that of cost. Okay. So what's the cost range for IPs and whether it scales down with usage for years? That's exactly the verbatim.
Okay. Yes. I expect that question coming. Everywhere, actually, nowadays I'm traveling quite a lot in worldwide, from Russia to Israel and US. And everybody asking cost, but maybe India is more sensitive about that. So
Very sensitive.
yeah. So roughly, it depends on what device you want to test. Of course, it's a very cheap memory and high-end ASIC. Then there's a variety. So honestly speaking, I think in the website you can find, I think now 60 to 70 IPs for the test item, each other test item. If you buy it, every test item one time, maybe it costs like 10K per month or 12K per month, or something like that. But of course, if you choose only the memory specific thing, then it's narrowed down to the maybe 3K, 2.5K per month, something like the range, which really cost effective if you compare with buying the large, the high spec tester or high spec, I should say, the equipment. Then also beauty of the CTS from the cost perspective, you can change the software, in real time. This time, okay, this month you use for the test, you do the test for the memory, or this much amount, or you're gonna pay. But then the next month, you change the device to test, then you do the analog or sensor. So different set, you can choose also. Then, of course, the cost is varied, maybe this and this and this and this. So, it's kind of not really pay-per-use, it's monthly based, it's not pay-per-use, but you can arrange how much you're gonna pay for the CTS by monthly base, which means by your demand base, what you're gonna test. So that's the difference. Yes.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Kimura-san. That was interesting. So there's another question of portability to mass production testing. I mean, any of you can take it.
Mass production.
Yeah. Is it easily portable?
Yes. Later you can see the real box over there. It's portable. It's portable. Then if compare with like production system, like this guy's handling, the ATE, it's quite small. But of course, the capability is different. Then nowadays, the production, meaning of the production is a little bit changing. Of course, the big facility, big tester do the production. This is one way. But as I said in this session at the first, maybe meaning of the production will be changed. More portable, more flexible, more, smaller, production. Here in India, maybe sometime in Vietnam, maybe in the Taiwan, this kind of multi-location or flexible production setup is needed. So that case, yes, CTS can be applicable for that production. Yeah.
Okay, good. So now I think we're going a little more technical. Takeshi-san, these are questions for you. How compatible for memory device like NOR flash, NAND flash, DDR?
Compatible. So I don't understand clearly. So how compatible? But our test system can measure the DDR, SDRAM, or NOR flash or NAND flash. So if you choose memory configuration of CTS, those such memory devices can be tested on CTS. But if you require the very high speed like DDR3, so there is some restrictions. But if you choose to test the memory cells, so almost all devices can be tested by CTS. Yeah.
Okay, good. There's one more for you. Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, Takeshi-san is pure technical guy, so don't talk about the market. But yeah, I can say, there are many customers, memory, like top vendors using the CTS for the evaluate NAND flash, eMMC, and MCP, SRAM, SDRAM, DDR. Yes.
Okay, good. So the next question is, how much control would be there on stimulus generator, of stimulus generation, if we use CTS in place of multiple devices? So they want some thoughts.
So you mean the vectors?
They're talking about signal generators and scopes and the others for the other devices. So they're talking about, I think, how much control will there be? How much control will there be on stimulus generation if we use CTS instead of the other, the existing method?
I see. Yeah, yes. Not logic, pattern generator. Yeah, signal generator. Yes. You can think that way. So the tester is a signal generator. The one part of function of the tester, the CTS, is the signal generator. And as Hamajima told in the presentation, the CTS box has 32 channels. Then these 32 channels are almost same as each signal generator channels. So and also I'm not really familiar with today's cutting-edge signal generator how it is, but the CTS or tester case is programmable. You can write the algorithm, or even you can write the 0101 or XL something like a vector format. Then run. Then our system can generate all the vectors and also give the expected data from the device. So I think I can say and also reasonable depth. I think I can say so. To answer the question, the CTS or as a tester for the Larry's the AT tester, can be the very effective, easy use signal generator also. Yes.
Okay.
Stimulus.
Great, wonderful. So there's another question on. Can you tell us more about analog mixed signal testing? Yeah, maybe. So there's an example that is given as, say if I have a layout of the chip, then how can I test?
Analog testing.
Yeah.
From CTS testers hardware's point of view, we have one AWG, arbitrary waveform generator, and also one channel of digitizer. So actually, we can also focus on the ADC converter and DSE converter. Most of that is embedded into the MCU. So those range of ADDA converter is under our focus. But of course, it's if there is a very high spec AD or DA, this is actually out of our specification. So it depends on what kind of analog device.
Okay, I can add something to this. This is outside CTS. Advantest, I think if you remember my slides, we do have a solution for analog and mixed signal device. This solution is the EVA 100. This is a new system. We started off with an engineering system. End of last year, we released the production system. So this system is a low-cost ATE system targeting analog mixed signal. It's a module configurable, so it depends on what products you are using. And we can actually expand and scalable. So today you can do all the IC development. It's quite a similar concept like CTS. But of course, the business model is very different. This is still a very traditional ATE approach. That means there is a CapEx involved. You've got to buy the hardware. And then programming, we try to make it graphical, make it easy. Okay? Because time to market is important. So the good thing about this is it's also able to expand to your future needs. Today, you can have one box that can cater for 8 modules. You can put 2 boxes to become a production system. Right? And you don't have to worry. Today, you do all your design development with multiple instruments. And then when you want to bring into the production, you've got to put in effort to do all the coding to make it into a production system. So today, from design to production, it's the same software. And you can also do the reverse back if you need to do failure analysis. You can use the same coding, and you can do all the failure analysis for you. So if you are looking into analog mixed signal, you can come to me. I can explain to you more about the EVA 100.
Wonderful. So there's a question on what types of chips can be tested with CTS? What are the types, like ADC, DAC, regulators?
The use case Takeuchi-san showed, yes, the memory, and actually, by my experience, our CTS experience, yes, sensors, so the analog and the microcontroller, Then so memory has various memories. So I just told, and the ASIC and the FPGA, DFT, yeah, all kind of digital is more on the focus, and also the peripheral like the analog and the powers, yeah, things also, yes.
Okay, so continuing, do you see CTS being used by big semiconductor companies?
Yes.
Good, wonderful. Would you like to name them? I mean, if it's possible, or okay, all right. So that's only on NDA. Okay, who has asked this question? Right. Okay, so this is a very interesting one. This is an India-specific one. Okay, can we get trial access to IP to evaluate?
Oh yes. So the demo, the license. Yes, we are currently providing the demo license, which affects 1 month for free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then you can see our website, and you can access to us, the JC, or the Lali-san, for the representative for this.
Okay. You have mentioned that LabVIEW can be used with CTS. Could you explain more about this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a Takechi-san question.
So as the National Instruments integration, so the National Instruments software and CTS software must be installed on the same system. And we have a National Instruments PX driver. So our system controls the PXI module by a PX driver. So and on my presentation, the PXI module, PXI 5124 requires the external trigger to capture the waveform. So CTS box, we use I/O pins to generate trigger to the PXI module, and then captured data imported into our software. So that is a brief structure of the National Instruments integration.
Okay, all right. So this is an academic question, but I think it's very, very important. Can you please discuss more on R&D at university levels? Right.
Yes. From my business experience, there's two type customer, actually university customer uses. The one is more real R&D or academic like investigation or research things using CTS 1000P, which is the full spec of our testers. Then they are really focusing on the like cutting edge like a device, and also as the Takeuchi-san's presentation showed, I think it's a photovoltaic, the solar system, the device. And instead of Japan, also the US and also the Taiwan and Korea university using that way. And also we have other like a product which is more for the education. So maybe some of you already realize to understand, to know the device or chip semiconductor, how it works. Tester is very, very good tool to understand how the chip works, how the electronics work, how the chip's characterization works. So in that purpose, say Taiwanese and also in Japanese customer university using the CTS for the education also. Then so today we already we provide only the CX1000P, but we also have the more like a smaller box which really focusing on the education for to teach the student to understand what the semiconductor is, what the like amplifier is, what the NAND gate is, something like that. So that's also we are providing the product to the university and the education purpose. Yes.
Okay, good. So you do have a university program as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Right. So
yeah, even how should I say high school, also the company inside the company like a training for education purpose also.
okay,
Yes.
interesting. Right. Okay, so I think we spoke about all the good things of the product and the company, and all that is great, right? So, but I think the audience also wants to know what are the limitations of CTS as a product, right? Maybe as a company too, right? What are the limitations? Yeah.
So if CTS have the limitation,
He's the man.
He's the man.
Okay. So Larry, you're the limitation, man. Huh?
No, Advantest world. Yeah,
Okay, good.
So yeah, I'm sorry, it's joking, but yes, the CTS is, as the Takeuchi said, we try to keep simple as simple as possible. Then also we are, so I said it's open, and also open to connect to the other equipment also to make more your world easier. And so that kind of the limitation, but also we try to across the boundary of our limitation. Then it's that way. Also one way. The other way is if our the CTS has a limitation, then goes to the AT Advantest. Then of course cost will be varied.
Okay, interesting. That's a it's a mother company, Advantest, right? So always when you have a problem, you run to the mother, right? So good. Thank you so much. I think a very interesting, educative for me, as well as I'm sure the audience also would have loved it, because I think most of the questions were answered. Thank you very much. Right, so this is time for us to kind of thank you by way of a memento. So can we get the memento? Like Vikram to kind of hand it over to Larry. Vikram Labbe is part of our executive council. Hey, thanks, Vikram. So can we have another memento for Takeji-san? Last but not the least, Hama-san. I mean, he actually told me that this is the first visit to India, and he was very nervous. So I said, you don't worry, we have a very nice audience. We're not very aggressive, but very intelligent, right? That's all. So Hama-san, you did a great job. And one to JC from Singapore, who's actually, put the entire event together. JC, please come. Yeah. He's the backroom boy, But they're the ones who matter a lot. I mean, we just talked, right? So thank you so much. I think wonderful audience, and I think time for, understanding the product a little more, so they kind of have some very interesting product demos. I think they have two systems. So we'll break it up into two, and half of them can go to one area, the other can go to the second area, right? And after that, I mean, whenever you want to have lunch, you can break out for lunch. And thank you very much for coming. It's been a very interesting event. Thank you for the encouragement. I think we will have many more of this kind, right? So thank you again, Advantest and CTS, Kimura-san, Larry-san, Hama-san, and Takeji-san, for kind of setting this trend, going forward at IESA, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hey.
No, I think you started it off.